Welcome to the Dog Psychology Podcast with Todd and Art.
All right, welcome to the Dog Psychology Podcast with Todd and Art.
Says it right there.
Yeah, it says it right there. And you probably clicked on the Dog Psychology Podcast. So, and first of all, thank you guys, everyone, for listening. We get a lot of messages. I don't know if you, Todd, you get messages, but I get quite a bit of messages that they send their message to the clients or they really love the podcast. So thank you guys so much, obviously, for listening. We really appreciate it. And keep sending us messages.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Now, this was today. By the way, Todd, I'm going to be going to Germany. I think I already mentioned that to you, but we're going to Germany for the whole month. So we leave on Sunday and we'll be gone for the whole month. So we may take a little break on the podcast. We could probably do some while I'm there, but it may be a little challenging. I got to figure out the whole internet situation.
If you can, great. I think, what are you going to be? I think 6 hours ahead of.
Oh, yeah, 6 for you, yeah.
Yeah, I think 6 hours ahead of me. So, I'm doing a lot of online appointments now, and trying to get time zones right is just like, fuck. I make so many mistakes with that. I have one in Australia, and it's the most awkward because the only way it really works is, for me, it ends up being like 5 o'clock in the afternoon time.
Yep.
And for them, it's 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I get whatever it is, 16 hours or something.
Australia is a difficult one. I've had quite a few people reach out to me who want to do like the online program but they would miss most of the calls. And so I think the fix for that we are going to be doing is having 2 calls per week. Well, one is going to be tailored for more people that are overseas and Australia.
Oh, so, cool. Yeah. Are you staying with family?
Yeah, we're going to, Anne, my wife. Obviously, you know who my wife is, but the listeners don't know who my wife is.
Yeah, people can tell you're not German.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Not German. I speak German, but yeah, we have some family there. So we're going to be all over the place. And I'm also going to go see, this was like a last minute thing. I'm going to go see Katrin Schultz, who's that woman in Germany.
Oh, you're going to go back and see her?
Yeah, we were not planning on doing it, but she's having an event, like she's opening up her training center. And so we're going to go check it out.
Maybe if everything worked out well, maybe she would do a podcast.
I would love to have her on. But I want to make sure, because English is her second language, obviously. And, but I think if we could get her on, that'd be amazing. I would love to have her on. Maybe
Anne could translate as backup.
Yeah, that would be Anne would love to do that too. So she could be like
You told me some cool shit from her before.
Oh man, she's freaking amazing. Okay, so today we're going to do another video analysis. And Todd and I have picked out 2 videos that we watched. The first video we're going to watch was sent to me by one of our listeners. I forgot who sent it to me, so I apologize. But she says, please, Art, have you and Todd break down this video. Before we do that, let me shut off my notifications real quick so I don't get bothered. All right, here goes the first video. Again, if you guys are not following us on YouTube or Spotify, where you can watch these videos.
If I'd have to jump up, I'm taking the cone off of Mr. Pickles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's got like a 7-8 inch incision. So if I have to jump up, I'm stopping him. All right. Watch close. Right.
So Ready? This video is going to be in normal speed, and then we've slowed it down, and then we may go back and watch it where we kind of just frame by frame. Here we go. Here's why I slowed it completely down.
All right, listeners, what do you see? I should say viewers. You want to break it down, Art?
Yeah, so let me go back to the very first frame.
Yeah, let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the beginning part of this.
And I'm also going to mute the sound here real quick, so let me go and take that out. It's important to watch it without the sound, I believe. So we're just using our eyes in this moment. So first thing I notice is, this is like what Caesar would do. He would look at the videos like, oh, these are fighting right away. That's what the first thing he would say. You can kind of see, I assume this is the owner. And this is a trend going on, by the way. I saw another video of this today where like they do this thing where they, and so I've seen quite a people like a challenge, a TikTok challenge probably. I'm not cool like that. I'm not on TikTok. I mean, I am on TikTok, but I don't really know how to use it. I'm never on there.
I'm just on there dancing.
Yeah, naked.
Well,
that's OnlyFans, my bad.
That's my OnlyFans page.
All right, so first thing I noticed is just the resource guarding of the dog, just on top of the owner.
Now, are you saying that positionally? Just
Yes.
the fact that he happens to be on top of him, has that
Yeah.
paw in that position?
The paw and everything. I mean, think about how they would be like with food sometimes, like when they're, eating like something that's really, really like a raw food, for example, it has like meat on bone, like the way they hold it, they usually put it in between their paws and hold it.
Well, I would imagine, if as I really sit here and look at this position, he might, as you're saying, to be lifted up, he has to be pushing down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not just reaching. It looks like he's a little extended through here. So maybe he's already pushed up and reaching. So if that owner felt a push down, that would have been something for him to maybe register. I think that's an easy thing to miss, is when a dog does that pull, like has any element of that in it.
Yeah.
As opposed to just having the paws relaxed and very gently sitting on top.
Yeah. And then another thing that I want to add is, like, I think people often forget that, we think about resources, food is a resource, space is a resource. People have a hard time with space because it's not tangible, so to speak. Like, they don't really see it. Toys can be a resource of play. So there's different forms of resources, but the one I think that really gets people thrown off is the resource of space, because it's not something you can actually physically touch. Like, you know what I mean? You can see it, but not like touch. Like food you could see, things like that.
And this one, though, you could say the resource is the human.
Right, and the human is a resource. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the human is in that particular space, but the human's for sure, I think, a big trigger of what you would consider resource guarding.
Yeah. So, and then I'm going to go and play it through. And when I first watched this, and I actually sent this to you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the person who I got this from someone's Instagram account. I think it's actually on here. I think she's actually a dog trainer too, or she called herself a dog behavior consultant. I don't know who she is, but she seemed to know what she was talking about. But one thing she says, I don't even know what happened. And I think when you watch it in real time, it's hard to see what happened, right?
Yeah. It looks like, well, the first thing that you would, I think, look at if you wanted to, the reflex of humanizing it, is that you think the dog bit the guy for doing something wrong.
Right. Yeah.
So the dog, is taking something out on the guy. Like he's not allowed to touch her. And,
right.
It happens. I just had somebody sit across from me yesterday and say that this dog that she brought into her house would run over and attack one of the other dogs when the human pet it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that is a dog correcting a dog for doing something that they don't agree with them doing.
Right. Okay, here we go. So again, right there, it looks like, and even in this broken down, it looks like he bites the owner.
Yeah. So go right. Okay. Before the owner puts his hand down, you need to really start to go slow, because you can see the timing of it right there. Stop.
Yeah.
So don't go. If you go one more frame, you can actually see. You can see it there, but if you go one more frame, it's more obvious. Yeah, the ear and stuff started to pull back.
Right there.
Yeah, you start to see the lip come up and everything, and it's not. The eyes aren't targeting the hand coming into the right. It's targeting the hand right here in front.
Yep. Yeah, and so you can see the eye contact is looking at this woman's hand right here. You can also kind of see the lip is already starting to move up a little bit. The ears are starting to get into position to move forward. Now, this guy, the owner, his hand is already starting to come in. It just like in the line of fire got caught,
Yeah, exactly. Can you go one more little bit of frame?
Let's see, right there.
No, you need to get his hand above his nose.
Let's see if we can get that.
Right there. You can see it, because I happened to get an angle of it, and I don't know where I was watching it because I could really slow it down, and it was so clear. Like if I do it here on what you sent me, let me see. Like on here.
I can't see you, by the way.
Oh yeah, because it's in my photos. That's why. So here, I'll show you right.
Well, I just can't see you, period, because I have the whole screen, full screen of.
Okay.
But I slowed this down even more. So after this one, because it plays it and then it goes slow, and then I slow down the normal speed one, then I slow down the slow sped one.
Okay, right there. I've got it's perfect. So I've got the one where you can really see it is right before his head comes down. And you can kind of see the curl up of his lip. It's obvious he's targeting her hand. It's not a debate. It's just a miss. You know, he held that bite though for a moment. What? You know what? Hold on. Did he go back for it again?
Yeah, let's watch. So this is a slow down one right here. So dog is looking at her. Look at the eye contact.
Right
Boom.
there.
Yeah.
Do you see that? You see it curl up before his hand got there?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there.
So it's already made the commitment to go after her hand, and then boom, right there too.
The slap of his hand was the trigger. It was like it created the moment. It created the reaction to go. If you watch it,
yeah,
she was gonna, or he or she, I'm not sure the sex of the dog, definitely was not into that hand. It would be curious if he didn't slap her hand, if it would have been the same reaction.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see
his hand didn't come in. If his hand didn't come in, I'm curious if the dog would have followed through with the bite.
Yeah. This is Thanking Canine, I guess, on Instagram. Thank you, Thanking Canine, for this video. All right, so.
But it looks like it follows the hand away too, which to me would lead me to think that it doesn't believe it's the owner, or you would have to question the assessment of it targeting her hand and it being a bitch slap to him.
The other thing also, you'll notice when he pulls away and it follows that hand, she comes in to almost block this dog's face, and the dog doesn't go back to her hand. Watch this. Bites it, and then he pulls back. She pulled back too, and he's holding on. And see right there,
No, he doesn't see it.
Well, you don't see it?
No, what I'm saying is it doesn't look like the dog is aware of her. In that frame right there, I don't think the dog is aware of her hand.
No, it's not, because check this out. Because look, you're gonna see the woman's hand move away. Hang on, she did it a little bit sooner. So look, you can see her hand right there. Okay, she already moved it away right there.
Yeah.
So he has this guy's hand. So when he pulls it away, this dog follows that hand. Right there, he's pulling it back, about to pull back right there, and he follows it.
Yep.
And then you see her hands coming in, and look, he's following it. And look, her hand's right here.
That's true. Now it is. It's dead right in his face.
And then he still is following through with that hand. Again, this is almost like a redirect.
But then, where's that going?
Yeah.
Where's that last? Oh no, it's just.
That's the end of it. That's
okay.
what we got. But
so I'm
pretty fascinating.
What'd you say?
It's pretty fascinating because, again, when you watch it in real time, you're like, what the hell was that all about, you know? But then you slow it down, you break it down frame by frame, and then you can kind of see that the dog's not really going after
I think the hand, I think the target initially was the hand that came in from the right. I think his hand coming in from the left, the way it came in, I think it triggered it. It was like the offending part of the interaction. In the absence of that, I'm curious. I don't know if her hand gets bit.
Yeah.
Or if his hand, I should say, gets bit.
Hey, Pickles, go to bed. Pickles, go to bed.
I was like, why are you talking to my dog?
Oh, no, my dog. She wants to play right now. And I'm like, right now's not the time to be playing. I'm trying to do a podcast here, girl. Come on. Hey, Pickles, go to bed. Actually, let me bring her up here. And then we'll watch the second one. This is Pickles.
Who's Pickles? Let me see. Oh, you have a dachshund?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
I love those things, dude.
She is turning out to be an amazing dog. Like,
when did you get her?
we got her when she was like 9 weeks old. All right, so let's go ahead. You want to watch the second one?
Yeah. Let's see what that one's about. So this next video, the purpose of this next video is because there's this theme of videos. I think we talked about it last week. I know I've done a couple of posts on it. There's a theme on the internet where people are posting their everyday interactions with their dogs as, I don't know how you want to say it. I mean, because honestly, neither of this dog's amazing. I mean, this is a dog everybody would want right here, this first dog. But the second dog is really good, but it's a very typical case of encouraging excitement and not knowing how they're encouraging excitement and what the outcome can be from that. Because this is a pretty everyday situation, in my opinion, but it also has very predictable outcomes if they were to continue on this trajectory they are. And it might already be there. I mean, who the fuck knows what goes on behind the scenes? You know, these are people trying to put stuff out for a post. And actually, if we have time, there's another one I saw today from my wife that is considered controversial. I'd maybe want you to take a look at and tell me what you think, because it's interesting. Actually, I'll try to send it to you now.
Yeah, text it to me while we watch this one.
Yeah.
And you want to play this whole video?
Yeah, play the whole thing through.
Okay.
Girl, to be with you is my favorite thing. And I can't wait till I see you again. Yeah. I wanna put on my shoes. I wanna
Let go. Oh, it froze right there at the end.
You said it froze?
Yeah, it froze again.
Well, that sucks.
Because that's the end of it, though. That's where you really want that's this part. I paused it on a pretty good part, though, by the way.
Yeah, I did, because he's about to grab the hoodie. Let me play it again here. Right there, so he's grabbing the hoodie.
Yeah. I sent you that other video. So, you know, I've seen 2 or 3 from this. And like I said, that first dog really to be a great dog. They've shown a few different clips of that dog. Looks like a daddy energy almost. You know, that kind of just big, lumbering, calm, nice, relaxed pity.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought daddy also.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. And that second one right there, I see it as truly good energy. You know, you guys, you know, you get some of these bullies that roll up on the scene and they just, I mean, they roll up with like fully clad in leather, you know, motorcycles are ready for shit. And this dog's really happy-go-lucky, but it's excitement that's going to lead, if it doesn't already, in my opinion, issues. Like when it grabbed that the owl, it's the same thing that we saw with that pity that we did the breakdown on when they were trying to do whatever that temperament test was.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously a different intensity level, but the same fundamental behavior. The way it's jumping all over this dude, that's a big guy right there. You know, that guy's well over 200 pounds, and that dog's just moving him all over the map. And there's no way that, I mean, if you keep pausing its face, you're not seeing anything that this dog wants to fight. But encouraging that type of excitement and that type of mind, that I have something I'm dealing with right now. I was going to do a post on it, but this is a perfect example. So this crate that I've been using for this dog I've had that goes back this week, the front gate on it broke like the day 10. So I can't actually latch the front of this airline crate, and this dog doesn't come out. He won't open it up at all. And it's one of the things like that you understand in behavior is that one of the goals is to prevent the mind from knowing it can do something. Right. And this is one of those cases. And this dog, this guy's letting jump all over him and encouraging, if you want to call it, all those physical behaviors. The problem is you're opening up that part of the behavior of the mind. You're opening up the bully part. And
you froze.
I've seen more malicious ones on there, like more people that are like being really ignorant. These people don't seem too bad, but I would definitely want to make some adjustments in the way they're interacting with that second dog before it gets next level.
Well, this is the other thing is like people will get a dog that's like perfect. Yeah. And then they think they can, or that is more tolerant of things, you know, and they get another one, they get another bully. Let me get another bully. They're not lovers, they're fighters. I mean, they're not fighters, they're lovers. Right. They get another one, they do the exact same thing they would the first one. They're like, oh man, it's so different. You know,
the funny part though is sometimes it takes people 5 or 6 dogs for that to happen. And those are the people that can be just bitch hard to help. Because so I have raised 5 pit bulls and well, the 6th one called you out. So it's like, it is what it is. And you're right. You may be good and you may have enough skill up until that dog, but it's really, to me, preventing that that interaction style from coming out in that dog. It's just like the gate, man. When they don't know what they don't know. And as soon as they know it, the dog will never stay in there. I'll have to fix the gate. So what would you tell those people? What did you think of that video?
I mean, again, it wasn't like terribly bad in the sense of like, they seem like pretty good dog owners. I'm not going to trash on them.
Nope.
They seem to be like, you know, they love their dogs and things like that. But however, that second dog, their second born, I think that was they called it. You know, it's a different energy. So we talk about energy. This is a good example of looking at both dogs, and this is just a more higher energy dog, and so it's going to require a little bit more than what they did with the first dog. The first dog seems pretty chill, very nice, confident, even energy, I would call it.
Yeah.
And the second one, just like he's ready to party. So he starts to match the people's intensity, and the thing is, when he starts to match that intensity, the thing that they always go to is using their mouth and grabbing things and get really mouthy. And so that's the one thing that people, you know, I have puppies, they're like, oh, he's so mouthy. I'm like, yeah, because it doesn't know what else to do. It's gotta, when we get so excited, the dog gets excited and then starts using its mouth in those situations.
Can we go back to the video so we can hit some of the parts like that, you know, to me specifically?
Yeah.
Now there are a couple, there's a bunch of these out there, and there's a couple of people that one lady has a Rottweiler that's off the charts amazing. I've seen that's so cool to watch what she does. And this other douchebag has a Rottweiler that he allows to essentially like faux attack him, like the dog's like marginal. So we'll get into this next dog.
Hey, by the way, before we get into the next dog, we talked about this before, and this is something that I also learned from Lynn. I know you learned this from Lynn about manipulating play, like understanding how the dog like plays and how to always be ahead or not on top, physically on top, but just like one step ahead so that you can kind of learn how to manipulate the play, right?
Well, there's so much importance of the lessons of play, you know, socially speaking, in what's learned. So absolutely, play is such a good tool and teacher.
Right.
That's the epitome of surrender, right? Yeah. So there was one where basically they have a dog that's stuck in excitement and they have a dog that's permanently surrender. So no matter what you can do, that dog's going to surrender. So right here, you can see the beginnings of where the fundamental issue is with some of this, is that they've created like an excited response to contact, you know? And so just like you said, and I think Lynn did a good video on this the other day where the dog went up to play, and then the dog like smacked her in the face, and then the lady smacked the dog back, and like this physical engagement gets started. And this is a classic example of a dog learning how to use their body due to the way that the owner is choosing to interact with, and most likely without limits. Yeah. And so it gets, you know, and the dude's big.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that, again, I'm going to go back to, this is the example of how you can have a bully breed that is calm, but, you know, two different breeds that have two different types of energy. Same breed, different types of energy, my bad. All right, here we go again. Ready? And I muted the music too.
Yeah, and that's just play.
Yeah, like and
it's just play.
Yeah.
But with the dad, it goes to another level.
Yeah.
Another.
Yeah. And there's the owl right here.
So do you remember, the owl is the owl, and that's not that great. That's the thing that bounce poke off of you. Mr. Pickles used to do that. So I ended up adopting Mr. Pickles from a client because he acted like this.
And then right here too. This is the one.
Yep. This is the worst. When he grabs it and does that.
Dude, he can grab his balls right there.
So I adopted Mr. Pickles because he was that. And the lady was about to have a baby, and she didn't trust him. That jumping up.
Yeah.
You grabbing him with his mouth on the chest.
Bump.
Right there.
Yeah.
So play.
That's where it starts to get intense, by the way, because you can kind of see.
He grabs it in between his legs and pulls back. You can see the shift in his eyes.
Right there. Right there. And by the way, if you take this, if we could somehow take this guy out, the movements that he's doing is exactly what dogs do when they fight.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, I think a better word for play for some people to hear is practice. So what play teaches you is how to practice hierarchy and hunting skills. So you're using skills that I'm going to use to control others or be dominated by others because I can't play well and I'm not physical enough. And I'm going to learn how to run and chase and grab a heel and do different stuff. And I want my dog to learn how to play with me and be physical, but I don't want them to be physical in a way that opens up the avenue to be disrespectful. I want them to be excited but respectful. So I would want a toy to be redirecting the mouth. I would need boundaries in play so that he can't springboard off of me. I would want to stop this every 30, 45 seconds initially, just kind of bring it back down. So get it amped and bring it back down. And I think the people that I remember we had these students in Fort Lauderdale a bunch of years ago, Israeli students. They were trainers, and they kept trying to say that you have to let them get stuff out in order to not have it. But then they said all their dogs were aggressive. So I was like, well, what point are you making? And they were talking about tug games with these big mastiffs.
I remember this.
And we were like, man, it's not the game, it's the regulation of the game. And so if you choose to play a competitive game with the dog and you don't establish rules, boundaries, and limits during this competitive game, then you're opening up the opportunity to be competitively controlled in not only this area, but others. And in my opinion, that competitive nature is what a lot of the foundation of some of that bad human aggression is from.
Yeah.
Right? It's a competition, and it gets out of hand pretty quick. Just like on this, that's a 230-pound guy, 240-pound guy getting moved around by that dog.
Yeah.
Imagine you.
That's the same size dog that was at TCW, the one that locked onto my arm.
I missed it. It missed. It was close though. It locked onto your arm in my mind.
In my hoodie. You got my hoodie.
Yeah, I got your hoodie. So I think that's a good video, but that's one of those ones that is such an everyday situation, and you can see that that's what's going on in the house when you're talking to the people and they're explaining this is what my da-da-da-da. And that's what you see in the background.
And the other thing that we don't see, again, I think this family has a really good relationship with their dogs.
I agree.
And I think, again, I don't know. I haven't seen any other stuff on social media, but I do, if the listeners out there are doing this with their dogs, they have to understand that there should be a shutoff. When you talk about rules, boundaries, limitations, what are the rules? We can play, but then how do we end it? How do they get the toy? How do the things that they do it? The boundary is, okay, now you've reached a certain elevated state mentally, then that's too far, right? And then the limitation is like, when we end it, we're done, have an off switch, right? So that is all the things that we talk about, what rules, boundaries, limitations are.
I had somebody that listens to us, they had asked me to expand on what you just said. I did a post 2 or 3 days ago so this dog, Romulus, this retriever that I have, that he's a real excitable dog, and so part of the protocols with him are exactly what you said. So if he gets excited, and the way I described it, I go, it's like holding hands. I go, it's like where excitement holds hands and just creates a continuous link. So like if you go to the dog park and get your dog excited, and then you don't calm them all the way down, back to zero, and you bring that excitement into the car. Now you've carried over the excitement from the park into the car. But let's say your dog doesn't calm down before you get home. Now you carry over the excitement from inside the car, inside the house. So it's like the park and your car and the house have all holding hands. It's like linked to the excitement together. And then over time, if you continue this, then essentially you take an excited moment and create an excited dog. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think a lot of people misconstrue their dog's excited personality from the excited pattern that gets created due to that linking and the lack of that breaking of the chain. And since he gets pretty worked up, I have to sometimes in the video, I'd had him down for, at least 8 minutes, and he has to lay down for a while. Cause he's like the pitties, dude, where the eyes get real red and they get all, you can see all the blood's going around here, and then it's got to soften up and go back down. So somebody had wanted to expand on it. And I think that anytime there's intensity and there's not a break, and it can be fear intensity, it can be excited intensity, it can be aggressive intensity. But if there's that intensity and there's not a break, you carry it forward. Yeah. Humans are the same.
And that's it. And when you talked about the dog park, like how they can get excited at the dog park and then they take it into the car, and then that becomes the pattern. The dog never fully goes down to think of it like a number. So they go and play, they're at a 10, and then we're putting the leash on, and they go down to a 5, and then we take that 5 into the car. They never go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so when we have our socials, we're using movement, and everyone's moving, and then we put a leash to keep them stationary. And then what I do, I get everyone rounded up around me, and I kind of just highlight some of the things that we saw, what I noticed. I acknowledge people, man, your dog did really great today. And yes, my intention is to acknowledge people and their dogs, how well they're doing. But the real reason why I do what I do is because what happens is I stop the movement. So they go and they move, and then we stop the movement, and then boom, they just lay down on their own.
Yeah.
All lay down. They're all in a circle around me, and they all lay down. So they go, so that we allow the follow through to happen naturally in a way. And then they take that into the car. So everything that I do at a social is very intentional for every little detail that I do. And I don't think, people think it's like a dog park. Not really.
Where I see a car crash happening is I go to dog, I don't go to them actually like I used to. So this is more when I used to go to dog events, and you would see those rally courses where they have little thing that goes around the little wheels, and they would get the dogs frothed up and chasing those things, and then they would just leave them. So if you were somebody that took your dog from that and just put it in the car, your dog's going to get stuck chasing things that move. So, I mean, if your dog, in a practical sense at home, I think where people will see this the most is if they put their dog outside and they let their dog go outside and it gets excited and they bring it back inside and they don't do the break at that moment at the door.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not that change of energy from the outside to the inside. And I know in the board and train scene, when I'm doing anything obedience based, I'll go do, 5 or 10 minutes of e-collar and then come in and sit on the patio and just wait and let him decompress. And I remember Martin saying he always thought that they learned the lesson then, that he thought that they were kind of learning the lesson that you just did after you settle down and then you go back and put them in the crate and they're in that resting state.
Dude, that's interesting you say that because Mark Goldberg, I mean, I know Mark and Martin, and I learned from Mark Goldberg, and he said the same thing. He would work them and he would immediately put them in the crate.
Yep, that's what.
So they can think about it. Think about it. I've always remember that.
Martin said. So I went up one day. He didn't live too far from here, and I went up and knew of each other. I wanted to say hey, and I had some e-collar questions. He let me work a couple dogs just so I could answer the questions, and we'd work a dog, and then he'd go sit down with it, just step on the leash as he sat down, let the dog lay down, and then he'd put it in a crate, and even a cat was in a crate next to the other dogs. And a couple things he said, he goes, you don't need anything more than this. People go out and get these big setups, and he just had 15 crates in his detached garage, on 5 acres. And he said he does the same thing. He puts them in and they learn at that moment. So, it's called latency, like in humans. And in humans, they say it happens during our dreaming. So like part of the purpose of dreaming is to file your thoughts away from the day so that they become coherent and can kind of make sense in different ways. And that's why we talk about that with the students, that we're going to teach you stuff right now that might take you 6 weeks before it actually comes in together. And it's a thought. Sure, always wants to come on and say
Blueberry.
Say, hey, what are you doing? So yeah, that's good to understand that energy break, because I think that even as a beginning, when I was doing it for a living, I don't think I really understood that concept of the carrying of energy through one event to the next event to the next event. I don't think that made as much sense to me as it did, later on. And part of that might be my personality too, kind of being more quick through things and just not having that natural break in it. But I think that's one of the things that I used the most effective with this dog here was that breaking system in between things, because he came from a situation where I think he was just continuously linked with excitement, and he self-excited so much that it made it difficult. And that's the other thing too with those bully breeds. One of the things that's so important about not letting them get excited in certain situations is how quickly they excite themselves with excitement. And what that means, that a self-incited type of thing. And that understanding of breaks in energy is the fixing thing for a lot of people. There's nothing more that you need to do other than wait 6 minutes, not 10 seconds, and do it consistently in these situations, and you'll see a complete change.
Yeah. It's funny, we were talking about Martin because someone was just messaging me. Her name's Laura. She listened to the podcast too. And she was telling me how she learned from Martin Dealey. She also learned from Lynn. And I just started to think, because his wife, what was his wife's name? I forgot his wife's name. Anyway, so she's originally from
Are you
Dallas.
talking about Martin's wife?
Martin's wife, yeah.
Oh, Pat.
Pat, yeah. She's originally from Dallas, which I didn't know. I actually found that out probably around when Martin passed away. And interesting story about Martin, by the way. I had never met Martin ever, but he knew me because of Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
And we were friends on Facebook. And I went to the ICP conference, and he sees me. He's like, "Hey, Art, how you doing?" I was like, "You know who I am?" Like I was like, "This is really cool that he knew who I was." He came up, shook my hand like he knew who I was. I was like, "Man, this is like really cool." And then I got to see he did some retrieving stuff there at the ICP conference. And one thing that I took away from him, which I also noticed Colleen does this, he would always tell the dog, "Thank you, thank you." And so that's something that I've picked up. I always tell the dogs, "Thank you." Like instead of saying yes or good boy, I say thank you.
So when I was learning with Lynn, Oprah was still meant something, and her whole attitude of gratitude was front and center. And that was something that Lynn actually talked about. And to this day, and if you see him, he does the same thing. To this day, come here, please. Thank you. Thank you. Like it's and part of it, we've talked about it. Part of it is I have to generate that gratitude in the love side that doesn't flow off of me as natural as the other energy is up on the front side do. So I have to do that. I have to make sure I soften and I say that, you know what I mean? Otherwise it just resting dick face doesn't get it done.
That would be you. Yeah, no, but that's true because I tell my clients all the time is reward with gratitude, because they're like, when can I say good boy? I was like, you can just reward with gratitude. And they're like, what? I was like, just tell them thank you. And the reason why I tell people that is because people are so conditioned to say, "Oh, good boy," and I go, you're giving the opposite energy of what you're asking me why I'm here for, right?
Yeah.
Because going back to these pitties, they are getting overexcited. So if your dog does something that is pleasing to you, you can let them know, you can acknowledge it, but I'll say thank you. I say that because if you give someone gratitude as opposed to like, I mean, if I told my wife, good girl, it'd be kind of like weird. But if I told my wife, I'm really grateful. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for letting me know. Like, that comes from a more meaningful place.
It's from inside of you to them.
Yeah.
And, I do something similar to explain the way we share affection to the point you just said. I very much encourage massage over petting. And the reason is it takes more effort, and it's showing more. It takes more from you to massage a dog. So it's clearly for them. When you pet a dog, it's for you. Right. Yeah. In my opinion, majority of the reason somebody touches a dog is because it feels good to them. I'm not saying the dogs don't benefit from it at all, but I think it ultimately, if you were to break it down in a psychological exchange, there's a lot of selfishness that can come from it. So if you change that touch and purpose, like you said, to gratitude, to a thank you, to a massage, you're having to be selfless at that moment. You are making it not about you in any way. You're making it about them. And I think especially for somebody like me, I think that's important, that the dogs clearly know I'm doing everything I can do for you. So my energy is for you. Yeah. And I think, especially for people that are more stoic, I mean, you're about to go to fucking Germany, for God's sake. I mean, that's a whole bunch of people that need to be like, thank you, because they
they don't really over there. They don't really like here, especially in the South, everyone's like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, that doesn't happen in Germany. You just keep walking.
One of the reasons my wife loves Florida is she couldn't believe when you would be here, like how so many people would be like, hey, how's it going? They would just be like, they would acknowledge you, from Southern California, from LA, not really what you get,
However, I think you would, I in California, if there's any place that would be more friendly, I think maybe like Newport Beach.
Oh, Southern California. Yeah. Huntington and stuff is different because it's
LA, nah.
No.
Big no for me. Big.
I was talking, I had a trauma surgeon. I had an online call. So remember those 3 shepherds that were trying to get a home in PCW?
Yeah.
No, the 3 little pups. Yeah, the 2. Yeah. So they all got homes, and so I started doing online appointments. I said I was going to do an appointment for free for everybody that got one of the dogs, and so I had an online appointment with a trauma surgeon in downtown LA. a couple days ago who adopted one of those dogs.
Which one did they adopt?
The smaller blonde one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Marisol.
Yeah.
And he was talking about they had the black one for a short period of time, and he was talking about he's got to walk in downtown LA at night after his shifts and stuff. And he said the black one, everybody crossed the street. Everybody got out of the way when he was walking the black shepherd. I was like, man, I kind of wish I had that one. Like, I can't imagine walking downtown LA at night. He's talking about walking past the homeless people and stuff and how the dog's reacting and little things I have to help with. So interesting. But to hear him, he starts talking and he doesn't realize what he's telling me. He starts talking how he runs, like he's a trauma surgeon in downtown LA. And so he's talking about how everybody needs to be quiet for it to be a team when he's in there. And so the more quiet it is, the better everybody works together. We communicate better. I'm like, dude, you're speaking my language. And it was interesting to hear him talk about in the midst. And I said, dude, you're dealing with life and death. And so I can totally get it. I go, and this is going to sound weird. It doesn't take anything away. I go, we're dealing with life and death too. It's because it's the perspective of the dog. Mm-hmm. They have the perspective of life or death. And so we're kind of in that same mindset where you're moving energy around that has that's so important. But dude, this guy was so cool and calm. I would want him surgerying on me.
That's probably really good for that dog. So I remember that dog was a little bit sensitive at first, And
that's what he said. And, he's describing an energy that's much different than we saw. I definitely saw sensitive, but I also, there was a sense of self there. And he said she's just super chill and quite relaxed. Mostly what we saw though there is issues with avoidance.
Yes, but I also believe because she had the litter mates there. And so she relied a lot on their presence. And so when we separated them, because they were still there, but just at a distance, I think she was in avoidance because she was trying to get back to them. I think once we pulled them away.
I'm saying with this family, the issues that they're having is with little bits of avoidance. Are you saying because of that, it correlates to that?
Oh, no, I thought that they were the dog was pretty chill.
No, it is. It's chill, but the issues that he is having when they're outside socially is with some avoidance and moving back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I was trying to help him with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly.
Hey, did you get the video I sent you?
Yeah. You want to watch it?
Yeah, watch it real quick, and I'll tell you what the quote-unquote controversy is. This is interesting.
Certo dia, à beira-mar, apareceu jovem galinheiro.
Are they alive?
Right. So you can
What's
so
that?
Apparently that's what the whole, I don't know if controversy, she has almost 1 million followers, and it's all posts where she's singing Brazilian folk songs or Brazilian songs, and it looks like she's on a farm or somewhere like that, and all the animals look like that. In all of them with pacifiers and stuff like that, like they've been sedated. And that's where people are trying to say, hey, is this legit? And when you look at it, it's like, when you look at it, it looks sedated. When I went to Asia, I was supposed to go see the tigers that the monks ended up getting in a whole ton of trouble for because they were doing the same thing. They were sedating the tigers and bringing in tourists to generate money from the interactions. Now, I got food poisoning the night before, so karma bit the shit out of me and said, you're not going to participate. How's that? So I was supposed to go to that, and I couldn't go do it.
What was that thing on Netflix, Tiger King or whatever? Did you watch that?
Is that the one with the tiger guy in Louisiana or whatever?
No, Oklahoma, yeah.
No, I didn't.
It was so disturbing. I
know somewhat of the story, but I never saw it. So that's what that was about. What do you think, dude? Go look at it again. What do you think?
Yeah, it look. I just first time I'm watching it, and the first thing I thought was are they alive? What's going on? I
know some of the world's best at creating calm dogs, and something looks a little dicey about that.
I mean, they looked passed out,
right,
all of them,
Dramamine or something.
Yeah, I mean, that looks a little bit. The amount of things people do for social media is incredible. There's that video. I don't know if I think I sent it to you. It's where a woman, their dog had just passed away, and she's making a video, and she's telling her son, cry, try to act like you're crying. The video I think I sent that video to you, where it was a mom talking to her son. I'll see if I can find it. But there's a video of a mom trying to film for social media, and their dog had just passed away, and she's like crying. He's like, I am crying. Our dog just died. Little kid's telling his mom that, and I was like, the amount of things people do for social media is incredible.
How, if you think about, and there's a ton of these videos, and for some reason they all use cats because it's probably easier to do, where suddenly this miraculous savior's on the scene saving a cat from a river. The motherfucker put the cat there. A lot of those, I mean, how did you just suddenly have your film? Oh, look, the first thing I'm going to do is pop my phone out. No, right? How did you know it was there?
Yeah.
If you really look at, Jen shows me a lot of them too. Jen will show me a bunch of stuff, and my first reaction is fake. My first reaction is, it's this, it's that, because like you said, it's social media. My God, dude, we could create a narration, and I was going to do this just for the sake of the whole, like, fucking with it. I was going to videotape one of 20 things of dogs doing something and create some really emotional, powerful story about moments before the dog charged into a burning building, because that's how and they're always trying to make the dog as human and emotionally driven as possible. Like, the dog decided to go save the owner after it realized days before.
Everybody wants Lassie.
Dude, I told you. You remember
that story?
He exists, brother. He's out there.
Yeah, but people are. I mean, even when I watch like these prank videos, a lot of them they're set up. Like, how do you have a camera already like ready for some of these things? So a lot of it is kind of set up. I always see these videos.
Where I wished I had a camera, because it would have, like, it was totally Florida man shit. Is I was out in the back of my neighborhood. I'm as far from water as you can imagine, and there's like a 6 or 7 foot alligator in the middle of the road. And
you sent me this video.
No, that's a different one.
Okay,
that's a different one. That one I had a camera for. That was an alligator over by my other house. This was one that was a huge alligator, twice the size of the one I sent you. Have you seen the one with the bear and the alligators in the water?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to look. So when we're done, look up St. John's River bear alligator. Dude, it is so tough. This black bear is swimming across the St. John's River, and the alligator that approaches him is a bare minimum of 8 feet. That thing's probably closer to 10, and he just swats the shit out of it. And then if you look, it peaks, the gator starts to follow him, and then he goes up to another one, swats the shit out of that, and just gets himself out of the river and goes on his way.
Okay, I think I found it maybe. There's 2 of them. They're 2 different ones.
That is the epitome of moving forward for confidence and moving forward to prevent aggressive interactions. That alligator would have killed anything else but that bear.
Is the bear in the water?
Yep. You can't even tell it's a bear at first. It looks like a big beaver or something.
It's at a distance, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
there's another one that zooms way in. There's a bunch of them that zoom way in.
Hang on, let me find it.
I fish right there. I've been in. There's manatees in that river. It's a really wild part of Florida right there.
Okay, no thanks. Okay, hang on. Let me pause this. All right, let me go ahead and it's how long is the video? It's like a minute long. All right, let me share the screen.
That alligator that's in front of that bear is big enough to eat any size dog, by the way. Any dog you have. That could eat 100-pound dog. Easy.
Is it this one?
Yeah, blow it up. Can you zoom in?
Yeah,
it'll zoom in the best that you can, guys, whoever's watching it. So there's more close-up versions of this.
Let me zoom in.
Okay, so right there, there is a huge alligator. Wham! Fuck out of here. No, it pops back up behind him. That would have killed a human, no doubt. No human would have lived through it. Guy just had his arm bit off not far from here like 3 days ago, by the way. Homeless guy swimming in a lake. Now watch. I wonder if he's really like, oh my God. Or if he's like,
I don't know. I think he's like, I know what to do now. Oh, wow.
Boom. Get out of here. Off he goes. And gets out over here by the tree. Any hesitation. That alligator would have attacked the hesitation. But
That's insane.
dude, it's so insane. I went on a trapping with one of these bears a long, long time ago. It was cool. They had to relocate it. I've had bears interrupt dog training appointments here before.
Oh, you told me, didn't you say like at your house, something like that?
I've actually run into bears 2 or 3 times during appointments. It's, Florida's obviously not a bear state you think about, but we have a lot of black bears here. But yeah, that's a cool video because the forward motion saves that saves that bear. I mean, he's just moving forward fast. He's swimming fast. And that first alligator, like I said, could easily be 10 feet. It's a huge alligator. And it would have eaten any human. It would have eaten any dog. It would have eaten anything smaller than that bear. The stories out here of what those alligators can do are amazing. Like people have talked about, they see a giant alligator like that carrying a deer across the lake, just in their mouths. So for that alligator to get detracted from messing with that animal means that animal, even in the water, is able to be that forward and convey that much of an energy,
Yeah. It's so funny. I sent Caesar a text message. I think I sent you the same video. I sent him a text of this guy like playing with an alligator, and then he gets attacked, like the alligator ends up biting or something like that. And I sent it to Caesar. I sent it to you too, and I was like, Todd doing Florida shit, and then you followed up with an actual video of you doing almost the same thing, but like putting it in a trash can. I was like, fucking Todd.
So my neighbor, I don't know how he did it. So my neighbor, I was driving into my neighborhood. He was right in front of me, and I didn't know he had hit it, but this alligator was in the middle of the road, and he hit it with his car. And I was like, well, shit, dude, the alligator's hurt right here. And it was small. It was like 4 feet. And so there was some people there, some yard guys there. And I was like, well, we got to get it over here in the lake. It's injured. So we need to move it over here so we can see if it can make it. So we rounded it up in a trash can and then took it down there and let it go. Dude, those things are really indestructible. They can't get infected. It's interesting. Wow. So like they can have an arm bit off, and they sit in water that's 110 degrees. Like the water right now in our lake is at 93, and it's only going to get warm enough. You get some of these back marshy areas, the water temperature and the algae and stuff. If you put an open wound in one of those things, you'd be infected in 10 minutes. And they don't know why, but they get 0 infections, and they're crazy. We come across them a lot. I deal with alligators. I'm Florida man.
Dude, it's so funny in that video. You guys are like, okay, why don't we do this? And why don't we do that? And there it goes. Got in the trash can. You guys are rooting each other on. It's so funny.
He made fun of me. He goes, what did he say? Flight. He goes, you're in flight. I'm like, it's a fucking alligator, dude. Because I'm backing up. And part of the video, I'm backing up. Like, I don't want to get bit.
And he had flip-flops on. Another Florida man.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Those are good videos to see.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that video? Sedated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. There's something going on there. I mean, she has almost 1 million followers at this point. So they're going to keep those dogs drugged and nearly dead. It's probably like Weekend at Bernie's. They're probably like a pet crematorium family, and nobody knows that behind the scenes, and they keep bringing in fresh pets and set them in there and put the pacifiers in.
Yeah.
All
right, man.
This dog's reached its limit. I gotta
get my dogs out too.
All right, brother. Nice one. Have a safe trip. And
Thanks,
if you
man.
can, we'll try to figure out how we can do it from Germany.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Be good, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.